This story is a true case of what we call dog eat dog, or the proverbial what goes around comes around. And this can only happen in the corruption-infested country of La République du Cameroon. 2 weeks ago, a whistleblower in the Cameroon Ministry of Economy and Finance leaked a document indicating the disbursement of 120 million francs CFA to a non-existent BLM Cultural and Development Association, LEDA. That was in 2018. ABS has now learned that more money was doled out to the said association in subsequent years. But what the association did with the funds remains the mystery. The funds were disbursed into a clandestine bank account in Yaoundé, known only to one John Fongang and Paul Tasson, the president and secretary general of the supposed association, the non-existent association. Bernard Forgeau, Cameroon's member of parliament for the BLM, and Juan Boniface Nkobenai, who worked at the presidency in that country until recently, are also alleged to be part of the racket that knew of the disbursement of the funds and how it was used in the non-existent association, pretending to still have control over the southern Cameroons and Bazonia. The Cameroon government released the funds into the coffers of the non-existent BLM Cultural and Development Association, ladies and gentlemen, to fund youth engagement in agriculture in the BLM, according to a statement that accompanied the funds from their finance ministry. The crux of this story is this: not a single franc from what became a yearly allocation disbursed to the association ever touched the hands of the people or anybody in that matter in the BLM except the duo. Apparently, the reason why the whistleblower leaked the transaction. As the document showing the fund disbursement made the rounds in the social media, especially within the BLM community, anger, consternation, and outrage characterized reactions from the people. There are questions too that they demand answers for. Questions like, who created the said bank account? Who created the said bank account in Yaoundé, into which the funds were being directed to? And who are the signatories to the account? What was the money used for, and by who? So far, John Fongang and Paul Tasson, who are directly indicted by the public, have remained silent. Phone calls to them remain unanswered. Indeed, Fongang is reported to have shut down his own phone number after a flurry of phone calls began pouring in. Paul Tasson has also not made a single statement about the allegations. 3 days ago, the story took another twist. A statement from Cameroon Supreme State Audit at the presidency in Yaoundé, issued on January 3rd, among others, is summoning John Fongang and his culprits for an urgent audit. Paul Tasson isn't mentioned in the summons, but Fongang and Boniface Nkobenai are requested or summoned to show up for the state audit. The BLM people may finally get to know who took the millions, adding up to over $500 million CFA francs, and exactly what it was used for, if at all it was used for anything. An interesting angle to this story, which is where the fraud is the fact that the Libya-Lem Cultural and Development Association that received these funds doesn't even exist. It exists only on paper. In fact, the last time the association functioned was in 1997. ABS was told that the association went under right after John Fongang became president in 1997. Since then, nothing has been heard of the association. Paul Tasong became Secretary General right after that also. But besides the two, there are no other known executive members to it. In fact, Justice Fonkwe, a judge of the Cameroon Supreme Court from Libya-Lem, attempted several times to revive the association. But the duo of Paul Tasong and John Fongang pushed back on the effort. But this is the question. Does the fact that fraud may have been busted here mean anything to the Yaoundé regime? Thieves are never caught in the country of Cameroon. In their system, thieves are never caught. They bribe their way to freedom. If anything, just like in all of the southern Cameroons where the elite always want the people to believe they work and fight for them. This certainly is the case of the elite, fighting for themselves, siphoning funds into their own personal pockets and not for the people. It should serve as an eye-opener to Ambazonians. Cameroon cannot punish them because then they will have no more agents, or what is popularly known as blacklegs, to use in placating Ambazonia to end the war. But if they do punish them, that would have only resembled the other playbook of La République du Cameroun. Use them and dump them. We hope Ambazonians as a whole learn the lesson though, that the so-called elite who come to you telling you to stop the war are not fighting for you. They come because of their own gain.